Do 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 dicka dicka do 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 do. Yeah. 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 14 seconds. 14. 8 seconds. Hey there, guys. Whoa. How's that going there? Welcome to the world. The world's on. The world's on. And you are on a microphone and people are listening, so you better say something, even if something's not at all. Because what is language but a bunch of blips and blaps?
What is language?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Put a whole bunch of sounds put together in random order.
I recognize those sounds, Brad. The sounds you just made. I recognize inside of me. The sounds in me. Recognize the sounds in you.
There's
And
resonance.
And my
Constellations touched.
All right, everyone has 3 seconds to come up with a sound that's ever been invented. 1,
Okay, you ready?
2, 3. Okay, Brad, what you got? Okay, that's good. I've never heard that. I've honestly never heard that. It has a deeper meaning, I think, that all of us can understand. And, yeah, well done. Anyone else want to go?
This is really hard. I'm trying to come up with something.
You just have to be spontaneous, Renee. Just jump.
Yeah, you just have to be spontaneous. Come on, just be spontaneous.
I mean, everybody's heard that before.
Come on, be
I
spontaneous.
was kind of
No
laughing
pressure.
through the sides
Just
of
be
my
spontaneous,
wisdom
Renee.
teeth that are gone.
Yeah.
My wisdomless teeth. I was like, let air express through the sides of my mouth, and you kind of got a duck sound.
There you go.
Pretty good. Lori, what do you got? I'm curious.
Damn, she nailed it. That was a freaking triple gainer right there of like, holy shit, I've never heard that before. That was great.
Yeah.
Good form, too, right? Right off the
job.
gate. There's no hesitation. Like, none.
You really landed that.
She was just like, don't you guys
when
ask me. You don't know what's going to come out. I don't know what's going to come out.
Come on, James.
I was
What you
thinking
got?
way too much.
Come
I'm
on,
like,
James. Come
man,
on. Yeah, you were thinking. That's the
I
problem.
was. Well, because Brad went first, and then I'm like, what did Brad do?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, do I know a sound that's never been made before? I don't know. It was
Yeah.
really a great thought. Kind of like we can't imagine something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Can we make a sound? I know actually when I was giving birth to my second child, I did make a sound I'd never heard before. And I wish it was recorded. I wish,
Fantastic.
damn, if I could have recorded that,
Yeah.
because I made the sound. It was very primal, like every cave woman you've ever met. I was like,
That's
that's a
right.
freaking cave woman.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I'd have had that recorded because it was very unusual. I don't know. It came from inside of me, the depths of which I'd never met before. So it was a very quick burst. So I think that's
Sheol.
why it was
Yeah.
very fast.
That's why
It
they
was
call it
like,
Sheol.
"We're coming.
Yeah.
Your water hasn't burst yet. So girl, this is a
Yeah.
this is a ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is so tied to what you were talking about Friday. I caught up on the werewolves, and you're talking about the monkeys, but you're just talking about the psyche before it had the regulator, the executive up
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
the thalamus, having a second guessing question. We just leaned into the wisdom of our unconscious, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love that. It's just pure expression.
His hair
And we
was
can howl tonight because it's still a full moon. Now.
Right.
Come
It is.
on. So
arugula.
James, you didn't make a sound, did you?
Wait. It involves a rolling of the R, and
Really?
I've lost some liquid. Yeah. Wait a minute. There you go. It's
That was good. That was good. That was like some kind of animal I've never met before.
yeah, it's actually an elbow blooming exercise. It causes flowers to bloom out of your elbows. Something I've been working on.
It
What kind of
kinda-
flowers
it
are you
kinda-
getting there? Are those mums?
Elbow.
Everybody's seeing mums, I heard.
You don't bring me elbows. You don't sing me love songs.
Oh my gosh.
You don't bring me elbows anymore. Yeah,
Used to be so natural.
Renee got me in the whole finger fins. That the word finger derives from fins, and I've been tripping out over this a lot.
Oh, no, I didn't
Fingers
Yeah.
and fingers, see?
Yeah, so
Round
it
isn't
turns
round.
it
It's
turns
all
out
facts.
when the brain says, "I want you to flip a bird," It actually can't. I didn't know this. It cannot actually say, I want you to only bend one finger straight up. I swear, this is not how the brain works. The brain actually has to say, look, I need the fins to bend. And in addition to that instruction, I'm going to send 4 different instructions, insisting that all the other fingers ignore this instruction. And that's how the body actually does it. There's not
fantastic.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, everybody out there, did you all just make a finger and just try to figure out how your brain did it?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I just put my fingers up and 3 went down.
Guys, I just want y'all to know that's a great exercise because of what I've seen recently, and I'm serious in this. In stroke victims, I'm seeing some rehab, right? To actually see how they're trying to rebuild the brain, and this is old information for anyone who's been in that, but just to see the process of how that works, just what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm watching them sit there, seeing them that don't have a movement of the right arm, right? Let's say, to see them way they're moving it. It's that when you're talking about looking at your hand, Lori, that's exactly what they're telling them to do, is to watch it, and then to see them watch the hand, and they're not moving it yet. It's being moved by a second party, right? But they're following with us. So my dad, I'm moving his arm side to side today, right? And he's watching it. But then he doesn't have much movement there yet. But as he's moving his head side to side, watching it, there starts to be some movement. Like I'm doing most of it, but I started to feel some of it. But it's just so fascinating to me that he's having to see it.
Yeah.
In order to next
well, when you're training your brain to kind of relax, that spatial referencing sometimes is just looking at your hand and remembering you're human. Hand. Look.
Yeah, a lot of
make a finger.
Yeah, a lot of phantom limb syndrome actually need to rely on that mirroring technique where they fake an extra limb by looking at the symmetrical reflection of themselves in the mirror, and so they're able to access parts of themselves that are technically ghosts living in the machine. There's a real live essence to their left hand still. And what's even interesting is that if you have a voluntary amputation, this is not so much of an issue. It is only when people are attached to their limb, whatever it is they lost.
To say goodbye, like, and you had a car wreck, and you woke up without a limb, and then you didn't get to say goodbye to it.
Yes, or same line. You're in denial about. You don't want to accept that, right? Who would want to fucking accept that, right? So people with a little bit of penile cancer, believe it or not, this is where these studies came from, and that they comparing the way that someone who's undergoing like an elective surgery of removing the old PP, to keep in mind we have thousands of years of history of eunuchs. So this is an interesting topic that's people have been thinking about this for a while. Like, I wonder how I'm going to feel if I cut this off. And they're like, there's only one way to find out, buddy. But along that line, if you are voluntarily participating in this, you do not, we'll call it suffer. But I think ultimately you're associating, this is that word pleomorphic. I swear, this is what that word is. It's showing itself up again, that you have belief that's been compartmentalized into a space that is no longer there. And isn't this what lovesick feels like? Isn't this what a vacuous feeling feels like of abandonment, right? You've associated trust, i.e. belief, i.e. plasma, right? You've associated that in someone who is now gone. And that because you're not voluntarily a part of that loss, you suffer a pleomorphic haunting, maybe would be the way to talk about it, right? Where you've allocated energy, plasma, but the vessel is gone. And until you can figure out an exercise to pull that back, you are missing a piece of you, and you're walking a walking black hole. You know, you've got this space in you. And thank God that we're even aware of it. This is why it's so cool that we're losing the placenta as soon as we're born. I think this is almost like a cheat sheet. It's almost like, look, welcome to pleomorphia. You're just living in monomorphia because the culture around you is insisting you can only be one thing. But as you guys get to be more pleomorphic down there, you're going to start to notice that this phantom limb issue has actually been a guiding grace, a sort of like lighthouse, right? That's been showing you what's coming. You just got to lose a few body parts, along the way until you get there.
I know this is kind of graphic, but I have a question on that. I thought eunuchs lost their gonads.
Boom, the balls.
There are different kinds of eunuchs. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
You lose it all.
Some eunuchs will only castrate
without a pee-pee. How do you pee-pee without a pee-pee?
Well, let me ask you, Lori.
If
Renee,
you cut it all off, the most crucial part, I know this from China. If you cut it all off in China, the most important part of the surgery is you have to put a little piece of bamboo, some sort of shoot, some kind of straw that actually keeps the urethra. I guess I don't know how this works, guys.
It's
Where
like a catheter,
the pee
almost.
juice? Yeah, there you go. A non-Catholic catheter, and then you'd have to stick that catheter inside there so that the skin would form around it.
Would that be a Pope-approved catheter?
Yeah. Well, if it's a boy, yeah, that Pope's going to prove the shit out of that. He's going to be like, this is working here. So yeah, there's different levels of castration, and sometimes the castrations are even done in phases because people aren't really sure. So they'll be like, well, I'm just going to cut my balls off. So they'll wrap a rubber band. They'll wrap a sacred cord around their balls. But then they start to notice, see, what happens is, just like everything in life, it's a contest, right? Where one guy's going to show up and go, oh, yeah? Well, look at what I did. And then he just...
Like a self-mutilation contest.
Yeah, exactly. He drops trout, and you're looking at it, and you're going, okay, I don't know how to top that. And then you know what? One guy tops it because he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to carry mine around my neck. And they do that. Have a little compartment, like a cigar case. And for some reason, the cigar cases were always a lot larger than they actually needed to be. That's a weird kind of an idiosyncrasy.
Not at all. Come on now.
But yeah, you got to admit that's kind of funny. Where people are like, "Yeah, I need a case for my cigar." There's probably a dude like a Sacred Royal cigar case maker, and you go to him, and then you probably have to bribe him, so he'll give you one bigger because he's like, "Look, I can't give you a bigger one because remember what happened to." Hans Reggie 300 years ago, the dude that needed a wagon to carry around his supposed cigar box. That wasn't, guys, we're getting out of hand. So now we have a royal censor, right, who checks the measure and insists that the royal cigar, I swear to you, this probably happened.
It can only be plus or minus what?
Yeah, exactly. I swear to you, I bet you this happened. What I'm telling you probably exactly happened. Yeah. Yeah, pull my finger, right?
Hold on, pulled my penis for me. Excuse me, I gotta go do something.
Yeah. Imagine being at a party. Imagine being at a party and people have been like, hey, you want to show me your penis? It's like, no, I don't like to do that. It's like, come on, man. Come on. It's right there. Why are you going to wear it around your neck if you're not willing to show it?
It's like a shrunken head. It's like a
And I bet you the guy's like, look, this is shrunken because it's cold outside. Look, guys, it was a lot bigger than this, okay?
No shrinkage, man.
It's a lot bigger than this. This shit ain't funny. Why are you guys laughing? This is why I don't bring it out, okay?
It's petrified, baby.
It's not potlatch, it's pee-pee latch.
It's not scared, it's petrified.
Yeah.
But that's just like the same
petrified.
thing.
That would be what if it's smaller. You'd be petrified. Sorry, Brad.
This is the wolf moon, I tell you what.
Ow!
Ow!
Yep.
My.
Yep.
It's the same thing to where if you talk about figures from the past, right? It's like if you talk about famous figures who are painted, can we be sure that's what they look like? Because the painter probably wanted to flatter the person in the same sort of regard, right?
Oh, sure. Until you get to the portraits.
You want to make yourself...
Yeah, until you look at like King George III. Like that dude, holy shit, that dude's like, oh my God. Wow.
That's like major inbreeding.
Yeah, because you're looking at that and you know, Brad, that's exactly happened. You know that they probably like killed like 4 painters. And this is probably like the 4th. This is probably like the best one that they could come up with. Who's just like, look, I have integrity. Okay. I can't just make shit up. I work with what I've got. He looks like a plunger. His face looks like a plunger. How do you fix that? You want to put more boa feathers on his... on his shoulders? Jesus.
Really big cigar box around his
this painting needs a dog. That'll fix it. We need a little dog in the corner. That'll fix the whole fucking thing, man. You give that painting a dog, and this thing is solved, man. He will love it.
It's like pre-orthodontic and plastic surgery.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna need braces, King George. We're gonna go. We've invented. This is why we invented the landscape, George. We actually invented the landscape specifically for you. We used to only have portraits. All of a sudden, one crazy ass painter comes in, smoking a big doobie. He's like, "Guys, I've got an idea. We're gonna turn the painting this way." And everybody's like, "Holy shit! This is gonna solve a lot of makeup issues, isn't it?" Yeah, we just back them up. You gotta get back, guys. You gotta go back. Can't fit this in. Yep. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Well, to even just have a painting or a rendering of yourself back in those days would be just, wow.
Yeah.
That's what I look like. Like,
I just think about you had this arranged marriage and on a boat comes across this little tiny portrait and that's what you get to look at. Wow. This is who you're going to marry, right?
No, and it's a long journey, Lori, right? So it's like 8 weeks of looking at that going, oh my God. Can we sink the boat? Can we?
Can we sink the boat? James, and he's like,
yeah, exactly.
Or her, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to make it. Maybe if I.
Now, y'all may be taking it one side, but that sounds like some ancient catfishing right there.
You're so right. That's a Jonah and the whale of a catfish. Yeah, imagine showing up and seeing King James there, just like, oh man. Sorry, I couldn't be bothered to come pick you up, but I've been inventing religion where we torture witches through nipple torture. And you're just like, oh my God, this is my husband. This is my husband. Oh my God, he's editing the Bible now. Oh God, at least. I mean, no offense, God, but oh God, at least he's busy. At least he's distracted.
Look,
right?
He was doing God's work. It's okay.
Yeah, and God's like, I heard that, Brad. I'm gonna fucking get you for saying that. I didn't make that. That is a plunger face right there. That is what happens when King George gets a painting done of himself and then decides he likes it. Okay, then you get King James. It's the other way around, I think. Yeah, King James was pre King George.
But see, you got to understand that James is working on that level where you think he's working against you, but it's just like what Trump's doing right now. It's like he's working for the greater good.
5D chess. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't really know, do we?
Yeah.
The turtle island is moving around very
You're
fast
right, Lori.
now.
Yeah.
I heard the big news, y'all. The big news this week, right? That Alabama got absolutely destroyed by Indiana. They got embarrassed in the college. Wait, what? No, but really, hey, to be fair, and it is a little bit funny, the conversations that I've heard the past couple of days in rooms like that I've been in have been around college football. Never mind the fact that Maduro just got kidnapped out of Venezuela. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just another example of.
Yeah, you were living in La La. This is La La Disney World land. And,
we're living in a very interesting. This is only the third day of the new year, and we've had a lot. We've got lots of stuff. Like, you just don't really know, right? Mm-hmm. I was thinking, was it for the minerals? Was it for the silver? Was it for the gold?
No, you're talking about Maduro? See,
we don't really know. Is it really for the? Is it for the oil?
It's for the minerals. Fuck the minerals, right?
I think it's the minerals. I think it's the minerals. I don't think it's the oil. I think we're already past oil.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying in the context where we had to take out Saddam because weapons of mass destruction. So whatever you want to say, the actual goal.
Well, Brad, do you see any weapons of mass destruction anymore? Okay. So maybe you shouldn't be questioning Pete Hegseth. Come on, dude's a fucking genius. Fucking war genius.
I'm not going to see any drug trafficking happen now either.
Yeah, so Secretary of War Geniusin, right? Secretary of War Ninja. He's like, I'm a war ninja.
All kinds of strange things because you think it's one thing, then it's another, then it's another. So it's like, how could you even know? You don't know.
Yeah.
Like the Roundup thing. We've been having this Roundup thing, this glyphosate on this beautiful, this chemical that's been doing this. Well, they finally kind of made the decision that they were going to kind of look at it after people already won these huge court cases of what it causes.
Yeah.
And it was
talking about fentanyl?
No, I'm talking about just the chemicals that they spray on, glyphosate.
Yeah, it's kind of like asbestos. It's kind of like asbestos. We're like, step one, put this in every school possible. Step two, hey, we should look at this. What? Hey, what is this weird shit anyway? I don't know. Asbestos. What could be wrong with that? It's literally called asbestos. Come on. Our kids, they're fine.
It's the best for your astus. No, wait.
You know what would really distract from asbestos is like school shootings. Like no one would give a shit about this.
Don't be worried about that anymore.
Yeah, I can fix this. This is what happens when you send a mouse in, right? You send a cat in to fix the mouse, right? And then you got to get a dog. And then you got to get an alligator, I guess, right? And then you got to call Don Johnson because that dude knows how to take care of alligators. But then you got like all this Miami Vice drug stuff coming in. And then you think you like it because honestly, you're getting like Phil Collins is showing up as like a drug dealer once. And you're just like, oh my God, are you a drug dealer in this episode? He's like, yep, I'm a drug dealer in this episode.
Lots of pastel.
A lot of pastel. You're right.
You what, they were trendsetters in the fashion, I tell you.
Cigarette boats, right? Come on. You can't even smoke anymore. Back then, we were like, dude, not only are we smoking, we got fucking boats named after cigarettes. And now we're blowing up boats, right? Jeez, man, we are sinking, guys. What is the turtle doing? You know,
the turtle is.
He's like, no more cigarette boats. And this whole country really was, if you think about one of the most sacred plants, honestly, that Amu Raka had, at least in our conscious lifetime, pretty much tobacco, I think, is right up there.
It is. It's the most sacred. It's a healer. It's a healer plant. You put that on a wound. If you have a tree that's dying in your backyard and you make a ceremony, put tobacco down, I tell you.
Oh yeah,
it's the truth. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It is the king of the plant kingdom. It is sacred. And what do they do to it?
Right.
They say anyway.
Yeah, right. I heard this. I don't know how true it was, but back in the years that they said that there's actually because of the healing properties as what I think you're referring to, but that it had there was something of that was a reason that people who had nicotine in their system were less susceptible to COVID. I don't know if that's true. The numbers seem to support that.
That was true.
Yeah.
It was the nicotine receptors. People that were smoking like fiends weren't susceptible. The receptors didn't pick it up.
So interesting because it was a respiratory, infection. Apparently, that's what it attacked. Apparently, So it's just interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting that unfiltered smoking was really like a sacred act.
Uh-huh.
And then
pass them the peepus pipe.
That's correct.
Yeah, now we're like, okay, look, because this is dangerous, we need a filter. But before we put a filter in, we're going to put a shitload of glass and like insulation.
Right, exactly.
Insulation
in here.
In your cigarettes.
Yeah. You know what? This cigarette needs some asbestos. That's what it needs. A long time ago, dude's like, hey, I got a shitload of this stuff. First of all, what are we going to call it? And his drunk cousin's like, asbestos. He's like, okay, we'll just use that as a working title. We'll fix this later.
Yeah, it's just like the fluoride. It was a byproduct of some chemical.
Yeah. It turns out if you want to make aluminum on Earth, because of all the fucking oxygen in the air, and because aluminum is not a stable chemical, because it's like a triple charge, sort of like 3 proton. I pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. But anyway, when you expose it, one of the reasons why it doesn't corrode is because technically aluminum cannot be ever exposed to our environment. I swear this is a way of thinking about it. It's true.
It's so encapsulated. It's not even touching.
It's unable to actually exist like virginally touching the environment because of our environment, our soup of our atmosphere.
Waters above and waters below aluminum is that membrane like in and of itself and sort of in a chemical way is what you're saying? Like it really doesn't react with this environment?
It's not able to. It's completely foreign. It's as soon as it tries to show itself to the environment, Brad, the environment attacks it and binds things to it that force it to become technically something else. So technically all the aluminum that you see in the world, I swear, is technically not in this world. It's sacrificing its epidermis, right, in a chemical bond to separate itself from the purity of it, which is why in order to make it, you have to do some like crazy ass shit to like silica. So like most of the world has silica in it. Most of the crust of the earth is basically just a giant wafer waiting for memory, and it has memory in it. The lines of the terrain kind of show you that's true. But yeah, if you want to pull aluminum out of that, you got to do some kind of crazy ass, like you worship some devil god of some chemical, right? And like just strip it out. And then you end up with, I think one of those, I think one of those ball chemicals that people like to talk about, they're like, this is the chemical of ball, but then the other thing you end up with is fluoride. So it's a derivative of this horrible process that you could only generate in an industrialized, revolutionized culture. And this comes back to this Atlas 3I thing idea, where if you consider that the Earth is only going to show certain signatures, i.e. aluminum signatures, you would know for a fact that it would only be able to show that signature after some sort of smelting industrial revolution. You see what I mean? So it's like, it's a marker in a way the Earth is glowing that it's ready. That it's sort of like has, because all these chemicals, all these sacred metals, all these magnets even, right, are now at the surface, and they're wrapped in cardboard and like nothing else, you know? So it's like a very different electronic signature or an electromagnetic signature that the turtle has. So anyone looking at the turtle would be able to know exactly where she's at.
Yeah, and then all that space debris that we have floating around up there.
Totally, yeah.
Right. And it says all of these things and these processes that this industrial planet has produced. It's kind of magic, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally. And they watch our nervous system. They'd be watching a reef. You would never want to fuck with Earth. If you were watching Earth right now, you'd be like, oh my God, this thing's taking off. The last thing you'd want to do is fuck with it, because you'd watch this reef, you'd see the fiber optic veins forming underneath the water. The oceans are touching each other now. You've got radio signals that are talking back and forth. You can actually listen to the language. You can actually tap into our own technology. Watch fucking cable TV, you know? Like, check out our internet. Like, that would be the same kind of intelligence that you might practice if you're listening to underwater microphone, where you're like, oh, these are whales. And I think that if you listen to this signature, oh, look, this one's getting it on with this one. This one's mad. This one's having a great day. And the same kind of thing, you'd be able to see that in us, because Earth would be showing a much clearer signal, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal what the turtle actually looks like if you think about it this way, you know?
And then as the Earth magma and all these like new discoveries, but they're not new, but the underwater caverns of, it's like making new turtle shell all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Glaciers, smearing new layers of keratin, right? Just completely devastating. What we would call devastation is just like this sort of cleaning, this baptism of foulness. That each of it. This is why it's such a freaking blessing that Turtle Island, like North America, Turtle Island was about 3,000 years, quote, quote, behind civilization. Having the ability to see into that cipher in our modern lifetime is a feature. And I think that feature relies on certain plates of Turtle Island collapsing 3,000 years before or after, right? The other side is rising, so that you end up creating this ability for the past and the future to see each other. And it actually ends up kind of being like a conscious regulatory device, because as you're trying to process who the fuck are these people on these boats, your immune system's being devastated just from the sheer power of their consciousness. It's almost like a 5G attack on your psyche just to be around them. And for you to be able to see where you came from, and for them to be able to see where the fuck they're going. These two things would be like a double bounce on a trampoline. It would really help the evolutionary growth, because one side's being inspired, the other side is being given this compassion that it would never be able to admit had it not been for like the Mexica or the Aztec culture, or like all the things that we were doing in the past. Even Hitler is doing that for us now, you know. All the things that we look back at what we were doing even 300 years ago are doing the same thing. But it's just especially such a sacred gift that even though all that literature is gone, all that oral tradition is basically gone, all we really have are like codexes from some Catholic priest that's like just desperate to just condemn all this stuff to hell. Even that little tiny window we have is still so incredibly, incredibly valuable towards our growth. You know, it's a blessing.
Dang.
It is. It's, you know, it's interesting because it kind of makes me think about the way that I don't know if y'all been into like the Laurel Canyon and stuff and things like that with the music of the 60s and 70s, and the idea that like the CIA was somehow connected to that. And there's this conversation about whether or not like the CIA through that was kind of running what was happening, and tying it back into the fact that the musicians themselves, and I'm referencing back to what you were saying the other day about in the dojo, I think you were saying yesterday about the fact that certain windows are open, right? We open certain portals to perception maybe that are different than others.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation was basically this: whether or not let's say the artist, right, whether they were being controlled by, let's say, the CIA through the drug program, or the exposure to the drugs opened a portal in them, and that consciousness itself doing what consciousness does. Like what I'm saying is that there was the conversation is whether all these musicians are intentionally trying to be nefarious, or if they actually have sort of a new portal opened in them, and so their experience of the consciousness, the reality, their perception of the reality opens a new lane, and that's just exploring it organically. And I will say, as someone who is just someone who's you know, had experiences both that music is my main creative for, and that
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and I see a lot of people like they use occult symbolism and they use things like this. And I don't think, this is just my personal opinion, I don't necessarily think that it's some master sort of plan in that sort of way. I think that these creative individuals, if you will, when they start using occult symbolism, just like you do, James, with your picture, right? With your picture with the eye, right? Like you're using it very intentionally, not because of some nefarious thing, but in terms of understanding the symbology and of it. And so let me wrap up the point I'm saying here is the fact that I think that a lot of the like Jay-Z does the triangle thing, right? And a lot of people want to say, oh, these are occultists. Or we're I guess what I'm saying is I don't even know that they genuinely know anything about the occult as much as they just see the symbolism and they understand how it plays on the psyche.
You know, I've thought a lot about this. I'm not trying to say, therefore, this is the case.
Right. Yeah.
But I do understand the architecture of a bell curve. And the architecture of a bell curve is always going to have one part that's higher than all the other parts, which means it's going to be more
statistically probable.
Yeah, or even in this case, limbically juiced. So when I look at what culture likes, even though I'm constantly flabbergasted as to why does culture like this, why does culture not care about this, blah, 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 that's my own just inability to compassionate, to be honest. But when I'm able to look at it in a more raw way, Jay-Z exists higher on the Y scale of the bell curve than, for example, my work or your work, Brad. And when we look at Y, I think that you would find that it would be impossible to find anyone on the upper crust of the bell curve that is not harmonically reflecting the most perfect thing that you could echo to be there. It would have to be better than everything else, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that the occult is the exact same technology as advanced sports medicine, where you know what I mean, where you were trained into the psychological belief that you were better than everyone else. And if you are interested in incorporating belief into your record label, and music, I think, is a venue that has this element more than anything else. Fashion is right there with it, but I'm just telling you, music is so intangible that this is just such a more important factor. And that because a cult has a architecture around it that already has a power to it, whether it be fear or worship, that it would be impossible for you to be at the top of the bell curve if you were not utilizing every single bit of juice that you could find in the environment to appeal to. It would just simply be impossible. It would be like, well, I want to wear cargo shorts and I want to be on the Tour de France. And you're just like, dude, you can't wear, I want to wear cargo shorts. I don't want to wear those gay ass biker shorts. Okay. I want to wear cargo shorts. And there's a way to do that, but you're not going to win. And the reason why you're not going to win is not because you wore cargo shorts. This is where I think most people misinterpret this, Brad, is that this is not a definition saying that if you wear cargo shorts or if you do not wear cargo shorts, you will therefore win, right? The Tour de France. We misinterpret that none of our magic is free energy. Our magic is amplified energy. That it's an amplifier from our own personal juice, right? Our torque, believing I'm going to embrace fucking 666. I'm going to fucking grab 369. I'm going to name my kid Crowley, or I'm going to golden child I forget the term already, but it's not moonchild, excuse me. I'm going to moonchild my daughter. I'm going to call her Sia. We're both music producers. We're going to make a bird that sings so amazing. We're going to even make her from Australia. Bitch is going to have to like really work hard. And she's going to like have this voice that's just going to completely change the world. That's a moonchild magic. I mean this with the most respect I can. It's not going to be possible from a certain altitude. You are going to have to go to a certain altitude to launch something like that. And when you look at the elite of the elite, when it comes to music, there's no way to do that without the harmonics of the occult. When you go on Twitter, you can see the raw power of this. I used to notice this. No matter what, if you release an album and you put 666 on the cover, someone's going to post about it just to complain.
Yeah.
That shows you that is free publicity, i.e. free plasma, i.e. free effervescent energy. And if you wanted to win, those are the cargo shorts that you cannot wear. You're going to have to jump onto that. You see what I mean? So as long as culture has something that's esoteric, you will find a Lance Armstrong that will remove his cargo shorts to drink that and claim it as their own and still have no fucking idea. Even if they're consciously not even knowing they're choosing it, I don't think you're going to be able to penetrate the vernacular unless all of your tattoos are symbols that people recognize, right? All of these things there's only so much real estate on your body. There's only so much real estate on the record label. You have only so much opportunities to resonate, which means every single lyric has to hit. So every single finger has to hit, every single elbow, every single color, right? Like what colors are you wearing? What gang symbols are you wearing? This is proof. This is the esoteric proof of the finger gestures doing the exact same thing, I think, even though they've probably never been to a blood meeting, right? Or a Crips meeting or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah.
So in other words, that doesn't really have a meaning because they're in the meat of the bell curve. So in my marketing, I remember taking these statistics, and it was like the early adopters and then the medium, everybody adopts it, and then the late adopters. So that's a bell curve,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Prince, Prince was he was like an early adopter. He made symbol before there was symbol, and he didn't use a cult symbol. He made his own symbol, right?
Yeah.
So there's this level of how could you follow Prince? Prince called out the elite, Well,
that's what's interesting about Prince, right? Because to understand, like he was a devout Christian, which I didn't know initially, but yeah, to see someone like that high up, to your point, Lori,
And
in the music industry.
he lost his name to the music industry.
Yeah, he sure
That's
did.
why he had to come out with a symbol.
Yeah, he legally lost that name.
He lost his name, Prince.
Yeah.
He lost his real name. And then he still was successful because he was a genius. And he's an early adopter. He wasn't like a person that was in the following of the occult, which is what you see now. People using it to dope.
And that's the thing I think that's so interesting to me is just the confidence you have to have in yourself to do that, to stand in that despite all the
And that's a cult. Yeah. And isn't the irony here is when you have that confidence, you become the occult. You become the occult when no one even knows it's a cult yet. Only a few would know, just like the bell curve. Yeah. The record industry is not going to know right away. They're not the ones that are like, oh, this is going to be hot. They're the ones that are told this is hot. And then they're like, okay, this is hot, right? That's how it works. And that formula has been, if you think about it, the first artificial intelligence is the music industry. It backwards engineered what is hot.
Yep.
And then it produced it. It produced it from the backwards forward, right?
That's right. It made it picked certain looks and certain, fashion and certain voices and put it together as these master bands.
Yep.
So they didn't find each other. The music industry found them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me about the nature of we'll just talk about in music since we're not right now is the idea of the AI and because I think it's ubiquitous across all the artistic industries, which is why I do think it's principally probably hard for true art right now, maybe. But in the music industry, right, the songwriting became a formulaic thing because the industry, what we're talking about, they saw what was successful and they tried to repeat it. So now, if you look at how music is written right now, most of the pop radio stuff is written by a formula by the same writers. It's not really even the artist writing most of the pop music. It's the same writers that are copy pasting a formula. And I think this leads into the whole AI nature of that getting involved, which I've said before, will lead to, because I already see aspects of it, true authenticity appealing again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like people get almost, they at a certain point, I do think they start to burn out on the formula. Because again, consciousness always needs new sort of stimulation, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like the movie industry with the hero's journey, right? So every movie has the same thing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think it's also interesting that when you think about the 27 Club, that's a Saturn return for a lot of them. Like they put all of that plant bloomed, in the first return, and then I think about Prince. That was probably on his second Saturn return.
Yeah.
He was in his mid-50s, I think, that he's couldn't hold that. He was obviously, taking medication and injections to heighten his sense of feelings. I'm not sure what his cocktail was, but that guy was really pushing it. You know what I mean? And to push through to the other side of a second Saturn return at that capacity, at that speed, I can see how that was a burnout plan. You know what I mean? Like even Jim Henson.
Yeah.
He was like 54.
For the system, right?
Right. Now, I was thinking about the organs and that was pancreatic, I think, for Jim Henson. And then I was thinking
pneumonia,
about,
I thought.
It was walking pneumonia.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the lungs. Well, I was thinking about where we are right now. We're like in an echo of astrological alignments from the 60s. So that level of was it orchestrated through a drug thing, or was it the way that the planets were aligned, like the moon is in the 7th house, that song, Yeah. Mm-hmm. But where we are right now is an echo in time. And I'm thinking about that movie. It's a kid's movie, but it was like the
Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
I love those books.
Right. So it's like how the music of this time and the way that the planets, if you look at the April 15th, all the planets are in the midheaven in Aries. It's crazy. Everyone is up there in Aries. So we're in this time where it's like all of that resonance of the planets playing these symbols, or they're playing musical instruments, and we're like being called, in this evolution.
Yeah.
As a bigger,
I said music and sound.
Called to self-anoint.
Yeah.
When you think about all the when I look at this, especially with the artificial intelligence, what I see is actually that it's humanity, their lack of creativity when it comes to embracing new things is truly the biggest governor, the biggest thing that's holding us back. In my mind, the artificial intelligence, even the splintering of what we would think a traditional art is simply a pleomorphic, again, this word again, an assembly of teams that become people in the future. A band is a perfect example of this. A band is not a person. It's a corporation that has no contract. It's a symbiotic formulation. And it's the way that we've been in the corporate world our whole life without being able to admit it. But that this band could have just been one of the first shapes, pleomorphic shapes, that we are learning to experiment with. And when you think about like a dance company or a band or a restaurant or a small company, even a large company, the camaraderie you feel, the tribal aspects you get from that are typically worth so much more that have nothing really even to do with money. We just don't have a culture that analyzes that tracks that, you know? We have the word corporate culture. That's about as close as we have, but we don't truly count how valuable that is. It's so intangible to trace. And so even though artificial intelligence is changing what art is, it's also allowing us to create without having to necessarily focus on a completed, finished widget. Something that's completely done by us that we can now prove is a brick that we can now drag down to the marketplace and then put in the time it takes to sell that thing, versus I just want to be the writer. I just want to be the bass player. These are different forms of consciousness. And if you do not have to dedicate your entire life to being the bass player, in a way, you're more connected to the world. You're more connected to nature. It's less about survival. It's more about just taking advantage of these opportunities to groove, you know? So you kind of have to relax, and you're going to need technology that allows you to relax more. But what's holding us back, I don't think it's the technology. I think it's our fear of that kind of creativity.
I think so too.
You know, our fear that you can't just make up a symbol. I'm not going to call you the artist formerly known as Prince. Are you fucking nuts? No one's going to do that. And they did. But they did that because that fucker was so esoterically believed in himself, because he had so much of that, of his own powerhouse.
Yep.
And that's what makes him esoteric, isn't it? That's what makes him practicing magic, is maybe a better way of saying it.
No, it really is. And I like how that tied it back to what I was saying at the front about the fact that some of these folks using this have no idea. That's beautifully wrapped up in that regard. Yeah. The example of someone who's really is in tune with their inner self, and someone who, like I would say, most of the people who dope, they plug into the outer, or if you will, to reap that.
I have to say, because I did get to see Third Row Center Prince. Like, he's really, really short. He's not like he was not like a typical, like, you know, Adonis man.
Right.
He had some kind of charisma that wasn't this, and I think it was, you know, he had a pretty traumatic, you know, the stuff that came out of him was from trauma. And then to see that level of what you can get from that level of, you know, being lit from that, not choosing to, he was lit from the experiences that he had in his life.
Totally.
But when I saw him, you know, it was just like, it changes you when you're around that kind of level of authenticity, totally risking being just who he is. That was it. It wasn't like he was compromising. It wasn't, there was no compromise. So I want to tell you this. I'm sitting in my van. I'm at the Gulf of Mexico. It's pitch black, and I'm hearing grunting outside the windows, like a pig grunting. And I'm like, what is that noise? So immediately my head turns off. I'm not listening to the conversation. And there goes the grunting again. So I'm like, that is like this level of, is that what we do to become like more awake? Is that we take the roller coaster rides,
Yeah.
Well,
and
sound like sure the
and
fact
like
that
you're in a band and you just like, you decide to sing really loud off key or something that you're not going to do what everybody wants you to do. I don't know. It's just an interesting experience.
I will comment on that there's been an inclination that I've had at times to, and I think a lot of creative folks have, where there almost is. Well, that's where shock value comes in, right? Where it's almost like I'm going to do something against the grain, and I had that experience for me several times when it was like. I knew what the powerful narrative was, and one of the first times was 9/11 for me because I was active at the time, and the entire room felt a certain way about it, and yet I was making jokes in another way and kind of really. So I got a lot of pushback saying that I had I was being very distasteful and things like this, but just talking to what you're talking about, Lori, there for whatever reason, because I recognized that in me, that it's not that I didn't believe it, I did believe it, but it was also a reaction to the fact that. Everybody in the room is acting like this is something that no one can say, and it's like, why? And it's almost like this inclination to push boundaries, right? Why is this taboo? Especially if it's something that what I'm saying, you personally don't feel should be taboo, right? So there is this almost this inclination to want to sort of push that boundary.
Yeah, the biggest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
Well, the biggest filter, honestly, is the word entertainment. Because because what do people find entertaining? Do people find you pushing boundaries entertaining? This is what I meant earlier by the thing that's slowing us down the most, honestly, is our own taste, our own desire to want to stay in the 1-4-5 chord progressions, to want a song that has a chorus and a bridge, and you do not bring me two bridges, don't you dare.
And and you kind of predict what happens, and that gives you your central nervous system relax.
Yeah, and this is, I don't even want to knock this. I just want to more point to it. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, this really is what's slowing us down the most, because so much of the fundamentalist fear that people get such a rise out of, and this is the enticement part of it, Brad. This is part of that formula, is being afraid of a false fear of the world is pretty kinky. And if you are, if you have the mentality of the world is made up of Buffalo Bills and Washington Redskins, you are going to want this kind of titillating horror movie-esque kind of, oh, I'm running and oh, I've tripped over the root and my tank top is so loose and silky in the moonlight. It's like that. I used to look at horror movies like, I don't understand this, but it's this is what it is. That's truly the largest governor for our belief is, what is the world willing to call entertaining? What is the world willing to allow to exist? Because when you start to look at the meta of all this, every artist is being choked by a sort of inflammatory mechanism of you have to survive, and you have to pay rent and have these things paid and do these things, and only then, if that's all there, if that stress doesn't bother you enough, any of the leftover relaxation you have, you get to use for art. That's fucking governor. That's a fucking noose. That is a way of controlling your own strength through fear, through intimidation. And the world is doing that to the arts itself. And the way it's doing it is through justified entertainment. It is through the broadcasting of something that mimics the flavor of what art is, but it's called entertainment. And entertainment means we're not reinventing things. We're not doing any of this experimental stuff. You can't dress that way. You can't look that way. No, remember how funny that was 2 years ago? We want that. And if you can't be that funny, then, we'll just find someone else who is. This sounds like we're supporting the arts, but really what we're doing is we're saturating the world with entertainment. Isn't this what we're accusing AI of doing?
Yeah.
It's slopping the world. It's slopping the world and stopping our creativity. And I'm saying that our appetite has been doing that more than anything else has.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all.
And there's good stuff. Like there's nothing wrong with like even the mainstream stuff. There's talent there. There's talent. That Billie Eilish girl or whatever. Sorry, I'm trying to get that around. Fucking talented singer. Like really good songwriter. It's working.
She's one who apparently writes, one of the few who does write her own songs with her brother. So
yeah,
credit.
So it is working. This is not it's if anything, I'm insulting our appetite. I'm not insulting the industry. I'm insulting our appetite.
Don't you think it's like convenience? I mean, you can just get scared by staying in your house and turning on a movie.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You don't have to go out into the woods.
Yeah.
It's that wanting predictability, isn't it? It's that, and that's what it is. Wanting the entertainment is wanting that same predictable high that I got before. And what I find so fascinating with the arts is how many times something new is not appreciated in the moment because it's not cool, it's not in vogue. And so and then over time, after a while, somebody thinks it's cool, and all of a sudden Leonard Cohen's career was like that. Like Leonard Cohen wrote Hallelujah, I want to think in his 30s, right? That song was not a hit at all. He was in obscurity for the most part. He ended up becoming a monk for like 5 years or something like that, and a Buddhist monk. And when he had a vow of silence, right? He didn't really speak in that. When he came out of that, Hallelujah and a few of his others had become global sensations. Like Jeff Buckley had covered it and it became a hit, right? So when he came out of that, he walked back into a world that freaking like idolized all of a sudden his work that was meaningless before. I can't even imagine how that must have felt to him.
Yeah.
But it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So he was a superstar in his 60s, but he wrote most of those songs in his
it makes you wonder if his belief in himself was all that work he did is in the monastery was him caramelizing that belief in himself, like, princifying himself. And so he couldn't do that in the mainstream. He had to go away to do that. And that was the proof that the world needed that, because in a way we're shit testing confidence before we'll call someone a superstar. We want to know that you love your stuff when everyone else doesn't. Cyndi Lauper, I swear to fuck, this is a perfect example. That chick was weird as fuck looking. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, right.
Just weird. And she's gorgeous. I hope you can hear what I'm saying, though. But seriously, when you first saw her, you're just like, oh my God, what happened? Are you okay? Is this a UNICEF commercial? What's going on here? And I literally don't mean that in a negative way, but if you look at her story, this is someone that was, at best, she was going to be a backup singer. And like that was her best opportunity, was that. Precisely because of the way she looked. And this is the nectar that squeezed out some of her greatest songs, like True Colors. Like that came from that direct experience of having to prove how confident she could be in herself. Be the only way to test it, right? Like we always talk about morality. There's really no way to test morality unless everyone is giving you shit for doing it anyway, This is hard to do. It's even I would argue that we misunderstand what a blessing it is to be surrounded by so much shit posting. That we're surrounded by people that are willing to shit post us, and that this is truly the nectar, the compost that it takes a while to really tap into and understand how valuable this is. If you could start to look at it that way, I think that your art is getting that monastery visit, because you get to decide it's worth it.
Before the monastery, Leonard wrote that song, if I know the history of it correctly, from a lot of trauma. I mean, he went through hell to get Hallelujah. Yeah. That's why he checked himself into the monastery.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He struggled with that darkness all his life. And it was like, that's the funny thing about Hallelujah, and the story of that to me that was so present and that I relate to in a way, is the fact that, like, from what I understand, like when he wrote it, he's trying to make sense of what he called his darkness, his pain, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, right, even at the end, it wasn't that he was saying he didn't feel like, he still was saying the hallelujah was in the sense that he got to experience the darkness and the pain. Do you know what I'm saying?
Actually, that was the glory. That was the feeling, was the humanness of the experience.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly.
Which is the hallelujah, know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we look at the fact that, I know we've mentioned recently the idea of people with a prison planet, things like this, but it's such a different perspective to look at it. And that's always what it comes back down to when you look at, oh, my life sucks, or I've faced trauma, or life is hard. And I want the easy out to say, God, you screwed up. I'm in a prison planet. I got tricked, and not appreciating the really what that's really there to help consciousness learn about itself and like grow from.
Totally, man.
But I think that's what it is some people don't want to do the hard growth.
Praise
they
Pizzagate.
Just rather stay in the middle of the bell curve.
Yeah. Praise Pizzagate. Praise Trump. Praise QAnon.
Right.
Praise every single story I've ever fell for. Praise me being in the military. Praise me thinking this is what law school was going to be like. Praise me thinking that marine biologists would never work at SeaWorld if it wasn't like a cool thing to do to whales. Like all of that is the kachina, right? Just pounding on me. And I notice the thing that I would want to hold on to the most about me, if I could put it in the DNA for someone, it would be that for some reason, no matter how many times I get pounded, I find that I always have enthusiasm. It's still there somewhere. It might take a few days or a few years sometimes, but it always emerges this, and the enthusiasm doesn't even have to be about something I do. A long time ago, it had to be more about, well, I have to justify my existence as a creative, so and it's not anymore. It's I can tap into something beautiful in the world, no matter how pounded I am, and this is what I would call genius.
I fucking love it about you, James.
That enthusiasm,
I don't know if like I said, I don't know how I would handle some of what you've had to handle being in, just in a little bit of more of a public sort of arena and sort of that case. But man, it is beautiful to watch. That
enthusiasm is the essence code. That's the divine code. And if you can, all you have to do to tap into that, I swear to fuck, is to feel entitled to it. You have to feel that you deserve to find enthusiasm. And if you deserve to find it, you will not see it as a resource limited world, because you will notice that the enthusiasm is actually generated. It's not found. And it's very easy to generate because it's actually more painful not to do it. And when you have that posture, you've created a self-deprecating, self-punishing device that forces you to be enthusiastic, or else you know that you die. You can sense your brain atrophying because you have not been enthusiastic in a while. And if you can get to that place, I think that's the only free energy device that I've found. And regardless of how sad I get or how down I get, I'm always amazed that I'm just like, why am I really enjoying the fuck out of this sentence, right? Or out of this little concept that I'm looking up. Why am I so into werewolves that it's like 12 hours later and I'm like, wow, what is
it's fucking beautiful.
What does he mean?
It really is.
It's interesting because I never equated enthusiasm with joy, but it's like the path to joy is enthusiasm. It's like how you plug into getting to joy. You can't just go to joy.
Yeah.
You have to allow enthusiasm to creep in on you. It creeps in on you.
It's what keeps you out of apathy, right? If you don't have enthusiasm, you will fall down into the lower, you will just fall into apathy. That's like water on the lowest point.
Yeah, and apathy is what they teach you. Like, hey, if you want to be a good man, you need to fucking be apathetic, okay? I want you to get out of the truck again, but this time, I want you to make sure you don't squint when the sun hits your eyes. Just let it burn your corneas. Let it burn your corneas, okay? I want you to look right up there, but don't pick your head up. Okay, you got to look with your shoulders. Okay, you don't need to move your neck. Why are you moving your neck? There's nothing in the world.
Feel it from your gut.
There's nothing in the world that you need to look at. Okay, everything looks at you. You don't look at it. Okay.
Hey, and you know what? Alabama's going to be back on top next season. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah,
it's all going to be all right.
Yeah. So from a very young age, you're taught to withhold that enthusiasm. And honestly, meanwhile, I was blessed because I was like running around Notre Dame, the cathedral, running around St. Paul's Cathedral, like in a choir robe, just going, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" It's like I was unleashed. And so I was blessed in that way because I don't think I ever would have thought that I deserved that. I felt like that I was smuggling enthusiasm, especially growing up in my home, because I would come home and I would say, "You fucks have no idea what you're missing. You got no fucking idea what you're missing and how much you're spoiling this. You're pissing all over the lasagna. And you guys, I don't even have the language to tell you, Mom, but fuck, you need to get out more. Come to Brussels. Come to fucking travel with me. Do something. But fuck, you guys, there is more to it than this,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking about all the controversy that the college teams had. I mean, didn't one college team make a bowl and they didn't they didn't have any they didn't have any top picks, and they didn't have the top paying coach, and Ole Miss had no coach, and LSU was taking the coaches from somewhere else, and it was all about this big money game. I was like, how can you be enthusiastic? That's the problem that I have. I'm like the Debbie Downer to people. I'm like, do you know how corrupt that stuff is? I watched going on with the money over there. You know what's going on with the money over there?
I watched the Pop-Tart Bowl with my stepdad. There's a Pop-Tart Bowl. It was adorable. The Pop-Tarts were actually sexual deviants. They were actually humping each other. They would hump like newscasters. They would hump coaches.
You serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious. They even I swear this is true. When the team ran out in the beginning, and you usually tear through the banner, they tore through the silver wrapper. They had awesome. a toaster. The winner of the game won the Pop-Tart Bowl trophy that had a toaster that fucking worked. It worked.
So they were all dressed like Pop-Tarts?
The mascots were, yeah. The teens were still allowed to dress like teens, but like all the... This is a real thing. Guys, I didn't dream this.
Yeah.
I could have dreamed this, but I swear. I was with my dad.
I saw it too, James. I saw it too.
Is it just because they need more novelty? What was that? I don't get it.
It's sponsorship, but you know how they dumped the Gatorade on the winning coach, right?
Yeah.
So now they dumped a cooler full of mini Pop-Tarts on the winning coach. But here's where it got sick, right? It got really sick when they got to the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Brad.
They did that too. But I'm serious.
Did they really?
It was full of sexual innuendo. I'm serious, Renee. Seriously. Every other couple minutes, they were dropping like serious, weird ass sexual innuendo stuff on like over the top, like over the top caramelized reality show kind of stuff, It was like way over the top. Way over the top.
And we're talking about college football, and I do think it's kind of silly, but there is sort of a level of that. And we talk about how Gaia sort of reflects the harmonic, and there is something to that to me. The fact that like I mentioned Alabama, right? If you know Alabama fans and just sort of the college football, right?
Roll Clyde.
Road Tide.
But how serious and how meaningful that is to certain people, because it's kind of like one of these things where it's kind of like all you can attach to. But in a level, there is something funny about watching the landscape and watching like what were quote unquote the powerhouses, right? Basically be sort of moved aside, almost like a new era coming online. And this is all involved in NIL portals and transfer portals and all this kind of stuff. But just the basic point being that the reason Alabama is kind of a joke in this sort of sense, and the way we're talking about it, is because obviously they were like this program that was winning the college football championship, over and over and over again. And that's what these fans had their identity tied to. And now but now we're seeing a time where it's like that is kind of being removed. Like Alabama fans are looking at the future, right? And that dominance is not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly, Brad. Because on a larger level,
They bought the best, and they bought all the best, and they bought the best coaches, and they're not going to win.
Yeah, the identity.
Going forward, it doesn't look like it.
It's an old form of corralling identity, and I don't want to paint this as a control mechanism, because honestly, I think budding consciousness need this. You need to be able to really put your heart into being a Minnesota Viking, and then having that team let you down, and having to believe in yourself and realize you're not necessarily the team. And some of you guys are going to go postal and fucking shoot up a post office the next day because your team didn't win. And this is exactly the kind of practice we need. We need to stop looking at ourselves like perfection, like we're in this, all of us are supposed to be conscious. We got to stop treating school shooters as like, well, they have to be a sane individual that either voted for one party or the other. There can be no other explanation, right? Everyone has to be sane. Everyone is fully conscious. The frontal lobe is fully developed. All these people are making their decisions. This is the insanity, is that when you look at the flavors of the average populace, it is so far behind where technology is willing to take you.
Yeah.
Technology wants you to see all 1.6 million colors. And most people are like, look, the web needs 256 fucking colors, and that's it. That's it. And there's a giant culture that would not be able to handle it any other way. You start saying mauve, and they can't afford to be in the room with you anymore. They're looking for a dancing Indian, right? They're looking for something simpler, something 256. And having, 12 teams and they all go to the Super Bowl, but only two make it. That's easy. And there's going to be a coin toss, and someone's going to fucking win. Someone's going to fucking lose. It could be a tie, but damn it, that's not allowed. We're going to go into overtime. So even that is solved,
And then we can argue after the fact, if my team lost, it was a single play that the refs missed. It's like we can just continue parsing this.
All of these are, this is what Beatlemania is about. This is what Elvis was doing. He's showing you how to have a personality. He's showing you how to embrace fashion. You're putting your association. This music is me. This turtleneck is me. This band is me. This guy is me. This party is me. This football team is me. This Marine Corps is me, right? That's another big one.
Yeah.
So you become someone until you become yourself, right?
Yeah, and that makes total sense, because when you're not confident enough to look for your own identity, you are just looking for
or when you can't afford one
of the group, like y'all were talking about in the dojo.
It's when you can't afford one. Even it's not even necessarily like, well, you could but you couldn't. I'm not saying you're saying that, but it's like, I think this is what we misunderstand the most. So we're holding each other responsible for really just growing, just really making a shitload of progress. Right now we are at the point where we will kill 100 people in the Caribbean and literally no one notice. But we're also in a culture that commits roadkill every fucking day and no one stops. So it shows you where we're at. It shows you how far we have to go. And I have to sort of remind myself, you got to let go, man. James, you got to let go. They're never going to live up to where you want them to be, is what I have to tell myself. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And until I do that, I'm not being compassionate. I'm being an asshole.
I hear you. I'm being an asshole all the time that football thing, I just don't get it. Yeah. I mean, I just don't get that identity. And it's
wrestling.
It's everything. It's everything here. It's everything. It's like they wear certain colors on certain days of the week. There's certain it's definitely something that I wish I could belong to.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to, have this whole ritual. It's a Saturday ritual.
Look at them all. I know. They're all friends. They're all hanging out.
It's like
Come on. That looks fun. To church. I know. And look at all the food. Look at all the kids interacting. Yeah. Look at all the business deals, the opportunities, all the doors that are being opened now from this. Come on. Who wouldn't want to be a piece of that? Then you go there and you try and
you're
relate.
Like, I feel like my brain is just like frozen.
Yeah, and you realize you're actually hurting them. Guys, you realize you're actually hurting them. When you're in the room with them, you're fucking hurting them. You're ruining the game. You're ruining the game because you're there and you don't have the same kind of. It's like you're talking in the opera.
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, this is the fucking opera. Why are you talking? This is the only time this happens. Why are you here talking? Turn off your cell phone. Jesus, that's us. That's us, guys. And it's hard to admit, but that's us because that's the last thing we want to be. And this is who we are as shaman. I swear, I'm telling you. That's what it means.
So just be quiet. No, you can't even go in the room.
If you truly respected these people, you would learn, you could be in the room, Lori, but you would have to learn how to enjoy it in such a way where they would enjoy it too. And until you get that Buddha belly laugh all the time, which is frankly really hard to hold, until you can hold that magic Buddha, right? That presence.
Yep.
I think that you're not going to find the football exciting. I was lucky because there were Pop-Tarts there. To me, the surrealism made it enjoyable because it felt like it was winking at me that, there's no way this is real. Don't worry. You know, and I'm just like, oh, I feel seen by this Pop-Tart sees me. The absurdity of it sees me, you know, and I struggle with this more than I don't. Most of the time I struggle with this. The Venezuela thing, fucking struggling with that. So I totally get it. You know, I'm hypocritically saying this is how you fix it. But ultimately, I think if I can get into a state where I can enter a room and know, okay, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings, or this is Hooters. There's a game between the orange team and the red team. And, oh, my God, they're all wearing pads.
But there's a room full of Hooters that you have to look at, too.
Yeah, and all the food is super spicy, so you can't taste anything. And there's really nothing. Your gastric system is fucked, dude. There's nothing you can do. So hang out. And you need to have a good time because you do not want to be the cleric in the room ruining the time, you know. You're basically might as well just be holding a sickle, being the Grim Reaper, basically. That's what they see.
Back to what you said. If you're that energy in the room, you're not doing yourself or the room any good.
Yeah.
You're absent.
Okay, so this is the problem. So the problem is it's not just college football. It's new age spirituality. It's the plant medicine gang around the circle. It's the Burning Man. It's all of it. It's like everyone's trying to fit into something, and you see that it's like a clump.
Yeah. Yeah. I you know what it reminds me of? I never really was into like basketball either. I mean, I appreciate there's a sport called basketball. I got no beef with it, but I'm not like, oh my God, let's watch basketball. The lawyers versus the doctors was like a big thing. And my best friend's dad was one of those. And so he was on the team and I was going to the games, even though I didn't really like the sport. And this is how I did it. Somebody brought a foam shark costume. And I was like, oh my God, someone gets to wear that? And I was like, well, you know, we have it. And I'm like, why the fuck aren't you wearing it? You know, next thing I know, I am the fucking shark mascot for this basketball team.
Oh, what fun.
Lori, I'm rooting for the wrong team. Like, I have no fucking idea how the rules work. But I am a dancing shark, like a lawyer shark. And I'm telling you, I had more fun than anyone there. Yeah. And why? Because I was a Heyoka, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
I was pretending to be the mascot. I was pretending to be the very embodiment of that entire thing while I was making fun of it, but not like in a I'm talking about the magic of making fun of something, right? I was making fun of it and generating enthusiasm while I did it. I was sweating my ass off in that thing. Like it was so fucking hot. It was so hot. I was bumping into people. I remember I got in trouble because you're not supposed to get on the court. Apparently, they're just like, you're supposed to be a mascot, but you're not supposed to get on the court. And I'm just like, that's stupid. Like you would think that you guys would want me on the court like all the time. I mean, I get it. Don't throw me the ball. I can't see the ball, but come on. Come on, I'm a shark.
I gotta remind you, these are the Raptors.
Come on, I'm a shark.
They're not the Timberwolves, they're the Raptors.
I distinctly remember asking, "What kind of sound can I make?" And I swear, I think Mr. Kessler was like, "Dude, you don't get to make a sound. You have enough to do." There you go. Yeah, there definitely was a lot of that, but Yeah, this is how you do it, you know. Find a way to go into that and be there, but in that mascot-y kind of a way, you know. Because it's going to be this way for a while. It's going to be this way for a while. It is. Yep. We are growing, but I'm just telling you, there's a lot of cattle back there, and those guys are budding, but it's going to be a lot more. Clemson, you ain't got nothing on Roll Tide. Was like, boy, aren't they the same? No, they're not the same. One's an elephant that's red. One's a Bengal tiger that's orange. How could you not get that? Why are you so stupid, boy? And I'm like, well, I thought Big Orange was Tennessee. How fucking dare you say that? That's not orange. That's orange. It's a completely different color. It's just like, okay, you want me to play Rocky Top, don't you?
Two different colors.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you better play
I have this
Rocky
friend,
Top.
and he would go to the college football game, but he'd only go at the halftime. So no one understood why he only went for the halftime, because he was only interested in the bands.
Yeah.
He would have the season tickets, and he would give the tickets to whoever wanted to go watch the game, but they had to let him in for the halftime.
Those bands are incredible.
The marching bands are incredible. I'd go for the bands, and I'd dance to the band. I think that would make me happy.
I love doing that. I was actually drum major. I was so into that. It was the Rocky Top that killed me, but that was
I know, right?
because again, you're at the football game. You know, you're at the football game, but you get to have fun now, you know, because you're in the band, you're doing something. Yeah. I've always suffered from, wait a minute, we're all going to go to this place and we're just going to watch. It's like, well, you're going to put your hands in your pocket. You're a dude. You're going to put your hands in your pocket. You're going to like be able to side look at people, you know, I mean, don't make eye contact, but you know, you're going to be able to like smuggle alcohol. Isn't that what you guys do? And it's like, those were the options. It's like, that's what you do. It's like, what do we do? It's like, well, you can either go out on the field and vorpally kill other people through physical violence, or you can sit here with your hands in your pocket and kind of brood, or you can have a car, or you could join the band. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna go over here.
Or you can watch the cheerleaders.
There you go. But James, the band is a great
be a cheerleader.
Oh yeah,
be a cheerleader.
I knew plenty of people in the band who did not give two hoots about football. That's just a great point to bring up. But we're enthusiastic about being with the band.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. In many schools, honestly, the band was like way better than the football team. Like way, like not even a contest. But no one cared. No one's like, well, we're not going to sit there and celebrate the band. You know,
we're band nerds.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We don't want to support these guys. We just want them to play background music while we watch our kids experience head injuries, you know?
Right? Kill him!
That's how you raise kids. You don't teach them music. You got to smash their heads together. Some of them are going to squeeze out some testicles, then you got prom night, and then you're done, man. Now you're working at Sears. Everything's fine.
Hey, James. That was surreal. I got to watch the one season my son wanted to play tackle football, and he played one and got hit a few times and said, I don't want to do this.
Good for him.
It was funny watching that season, to watch parents of 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. And I did hear that verbatim. Hit him, kill him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, these are freaking kids, but the dads are into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's so counterintuitive. It really is. I don't think we understand how stupid we are. Like when you really watch it, what we're doing, it's just like, wow, we're doing that. It's like, yep, we're doing that. Hey, let's
another one.
Let's get their pants tighter. We need to get their pants. Oh, and let's invent a jock strap where their ass you can still see in the locker room. Like, who fucking invented that stuff? Where it's like, yeah, we want assless underwear. Let's do that. Where we have a position called center, and I'm just like, you guys, I'm not. Look, don't beat me up, but man, you guys.
And they have to smack each other's asses every time they do a move.
Exactly.
It's like a reverse. It's like a reverse bra. Yeah. And with that, we're going to land this flight.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. You're right.
Live ending of this Turtle Island report. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Great flight.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Wait, keep talking for a sec. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking
for a second, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay. That moon is like howling tonight.
Yeah, I got to go check it out. I'm going to check her out. Eat some Spanish rice.
The grunting is still happening. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a wild
Love you guys.
pig. I think it's a wild pig. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you had fun.
You said it yourself, this will not work if we are miles apart. Wake up alone, your fans are closed. Reach for something that you're not. Oh, you need to calm down, honey. You need to calm down. You don't like your hair, but I think it's beautiful. We just need to calm down, honey. We need to calm down, honey. We need to calm down, honey. We need to calm down.